I am going to Art in Pennsylvania. Hello?
Hello?
Hey.
Hello.
Oh, can you hear me? Good.
Good.
Yes, we can.
How are you doing?
Hey, good. You guys have a good show today. Very lively, very
Thanks.
inspiring.
Hope you keep it that way.
Good. Okay, I'll do my best. I've got a few things. The first premise of the Kalam is nonsense.
Okay.
Supernatural is an empty term. Why Jesus failed. Should I start with the first one?
Before you do that, can you tell us what point of view you're coming from?
I have a belief in God as ultimate ground of existence, but I believe Christianity is mostly nonsense.
All right. I should tell you that you have very little work to do to convince most of our audience that the Quran is garbage.
Oh,
I mean,
well, no.
But almost nobody watching the show has any particular regard for the Quran. I mean, you're maybe talking to like 0.1%.
I think you said the
Russell,
Kalam.
I said the Kalam.
The Kalam, yeah.
Oh,
The
it's spelled
Kalam.
wring here. Okay.
Oh, no. Kalam.
Well, then I am ranting over nothing. But actually, same thing. I don't think think a lot of people have any special regard for Kalam.
Yeah. No, it's not that I think that they do. It's that what bugs me is that the first premise is obviously nonsense. And often on the show, people have accepted that and gone beyond it.
Let's see. Well, so not everybody knows what Kalam is, but it is basically a sort of elaborate workaround for the first cause argument. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, all I'm saying is when they say everything that begins to exist has a cause, I can't think of anything that has a cause. Everything I can think of has multiple causes.
Sure.
And if you want to run with and if you want to run with multiple causes and you accept the Kalam, you end up proving multiple immaterial minds or polytheism, which is ridiculous. I mean, the people who make the argument have a first premise, which I can't think of anything that has a single cause. So I just think that the first premise is nonsense, but I've seen it go on to the second and third premise. So that was the point I wanted to make about that.
Sure. We are so far on the same page.
Okay. Let me move on to supernatural is an empty term. I think you'll agree with this, too. Since we don't know the limits of the natural, supernatural is a bogus term because we don't know where the natural ends.
I think there is no solid definition of what's natural and what's not, which is, I think, a good reason why, our co-host Tracy, in particular, when she hears words like, oh, well, it's supernatural or it's spiritual, her first answer is, I don't know what that means. Because usually the people who are trying to use it don't really have an idea what it means either. They just sort of invoke it as a vague, magical word that can sum up nothing, really.
Yeah. Well, I would say that you can give it the meaning of beyond the natural, but since we don't know where the natural ends, you can't, with confidence, call anything supernatural. At one time, lightning was considered supernatural. It was considered God's whatever.
Okay.
So... Okay, I got one more. This will go quick.
All right. Are you just calling to make our case for us?
Well, it's just like I said, I've watched your show a lot, and when I've seen discussion of the Kalam go past the first premise to the second and the third, that's why I brought that up, because I don't even think it should get past the first.
Well, when we have these discussions, I mean, it's hard to see what it's like sitting on this side of the camera, but there's a lot of stuff people will say that we don't think holds any water, but sometimes interesting discussions don't happen at the level where you're nitpicking the wording of the first sentence that they say. And so I feel like sometimes it's important to let the argument, to maybe conditionally accept the first thing they say, which is not the same thing as necessarily actually saying that they're right, but just saying, okay, suppose that we say you're right, let's see where this goes. Because I think the useful discussion happens in the meat of what they're actually trying to get across. And, you know, that's just how it goes sometimes.
Okay. Well, my last one, I think you'll accept too. But maybe, even if someone accepted the whole Christian story and wanted to be saved, the fact remains that whatever denomination you pick, there's going to be several other Christian denominations telling you you've picked wrong and you're still not saved. And I think that point, which I think you'll agree with, indicates to me that Jesus failed. Because if he came to bring us the way of salvation and all he brought us was 20 different churches and you have to pick one via roulette wheel, and you still might not be saved if you don't look out and pick the right one. I think that's a clear indication that he failed. And
we agree again. Yeah.
I don't think minus the assumption of that Jesus' character failed, but in a whole, I understand where you're coming from. Just the sheer amount of denominations and the little differences and sometimes larger differences that can exist between those denominations as far as criterion for admittance into the gates. It could become problematic on that side. So
I mean, like if I deliver 10 medicine bottles and one of them is going to save you and the other not, one of them is going to cure you and the other 9 aren't, then I really haven't brought you to cure. I've brought you a lottery.
Sure.
But that was my third point. I'm sorry we can't find something to disagree about. Maybe I'll go back again.
I bet we could if we tried, but if we're not aiming for that, then that's fine.
Could,
All right, bridging the gap moment.
That would happen.
Okay.
Guys.
Well, thanks for calling.
All right, I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. See
yes. Or of course, there is always Doug. I'm sorry. We were recently watching the sitcom The Good Place, which I personally recommend to all the atheists. And one of the first things that Ted Danson, who is an angel, says is that, all the religions got about 5% of it right, but there's this one stoner kid in the 70s named Doug who got really high one night and then correctly guessed about 92% of exactly what the afterlife is like. So there's your way out of the roulette wheel. Ask Doug.